Hey, how y'all doing? I'm Greg. Just gonna do a little video real quick about this. Just the whole. I want to talk about the WNBA because people are saying that people are only getting into Caitlin Clark and they're ignoring all the other WNBA players and things like that. And I want to just kind of address the issue with women's basketball and why I think people are more kind of connected with Caitlin Clark than other players in the league. Okay, so I'm just gonna go through my personal story um, and just kind of show that maybe I am the average fan, or maybe so that you can kind of see my perspective on how I look at women's basketball. Okay, so I've always been a sports fan. I'm a huge sports fan. I love all sports except for maybe golf or things like that. But like football, basketball, baseball, soccer, tennis, hockey, everything. I love all sports. Okay, if I had to pick like maybe my two favorite sports, would probably be the general league: football, basketball, soccer, baseball. Yeah, um, and obviously most of the sports that I watch is mostly men's sports because generally speaking, men are better, stronger, faster, all that. Okay. Uh, with that said, though, I do love basketball, and if there's nothing, if at the time when I was younger, I had no problem watching women's sports if there was nothing else on, or if it was a good game, I would watch it. Uh, Probably when I first got into women's college sports was probably when Pat Summitt was winning championships at Tennessee, and the best player that I was watching on that little Tennessee dynasty was Shamika Holdsclaw. And around that time, that's when the WNBA started. I believe it was around 96, 97, somewhere around there. So, and, you know, I always love baseball, but I'm not going to lie, sometimes baseball can be a little slow. So it was kind of cool to see that there was going to be something else to watch over the summer. So I was like, yo, cool. They're making a women's basketball league. Um, in the summer, I'm down. Whoever Shamika Holds, like I said, I was a big Shamika Holds Claw fan, so I was like, okay, whoever Shamika Holds Claw goes to, that's who I'm rooting for. So she goes to the Mystics, so I'm rooting for the Mystics, right? And no, WNBA had like Lisa Leslie on the Sparks. I believe Rebecca Lobo was on the Liberty, and then you had your big three in Houston. Um, with Cynthia Cooper, Tina Thompson, and Cheryl Swoops. And I believe they won the first three championships. So the league was cool. Like it was good. It was like I said, it was something to do over the summer. I was happy. I got to see Shamika Holdsclaw. They sucked every year. They were never good. But whatever. I'm like, the type of person I am. I'm just gonna root for them. And like I said, they were never good, but I would follow the league because, like I said, I'm a sports guy. I'm always looking for sports to watch, and it was good. So I never really had a problem. It was like kind of maybe the sixth or seventh sport I would watch. So I wasn't like I was like a diehard fan, but I was watching. I was following the league and everything like that. Um, what turned me off from the WNBA um, was around I say the mid 2000s, right? Two things happened, right? Candace Wiggins got basically ran out the league because she was saying how, now, if you don't know who Candace Wiggins is, she was a big time college player in Stanford, and I forgot what pro team she played for, but I think she was a decent player in the pros. But she wasn't the same player because she felt bullied because she was a straight woman and she just felt uncomfortable, you know, being in the league. And also, same thing apparently with Maya Moore. Although people will say that Maya Moore left because of her pursuit of trying to get men out of prison, or people who shouldn't be in prison out of prison. She was also a Christian. She was also straight, and she had about four championships. She was rolling at that time. She could have had a 20-year career like Diana Taurasi, but I don't think she was comfortable in that whole environment that was hostile to Christians. Me being a Christian, I seen this and it just kind of rubbed me the wrong way that they were going out of their way to just kind of promote LGBTQ stuff. You know, I'm here to watch basketball, okay? And I don't agree with those type of values. Like I don't have a, like obviously I want people to express themselves and you know be what they are or whatever, but honestly I don't agree with the LGBTQ lifestyle. So if that's the lifestyle that they're going to promote, and they're literally promoting it to the point where they're kicking out star players or making it so uncomfortable for star players or even decent players to not even want to play in the league, and they want to, hype up the Brittany Grinders of the world, and I'm just not down with that. So honestly, after the whole Maya Moore thing, I just kind of stopped watching. I would follow women's college ball because they just made it about basketball, and you really didn't know who was gay and who was straight. You were just watching basketball, so that was fine. But in the pros, they make it more of an issue, so I just kind of left it alone, man. And maybe for the first time in a while, you know, college basketball got real interesting with Caitlin Clark because you don't really see Iowa do well that often. And honestly, it was kind of weird to see. And I hate the 3 point line. If anybody's seen any of my videos, you know I hate the 3 point line. But it was kind of weird to see a girl that was shooting from that deep. And, I think the first time I saw her was ESPN was showing a highlight of her against Michigan her sophomore year. And I didn't really think of it at the time. I was just kind of watching. But I was just like, oh, okay. And then I remembered her from the year before, and she was getting way more hype now because she was gonna get a 1 seed at her junior year, and obviously she made a deep run. And it just got me caught up rooting for her because then she beat South Carolina, and then obviously she loses to LSU, and then the whole issue with Angel Reese comes down because Angel Reese is basically chasing her down to try to make her look bad. And that is, to this day, why I have a problem with Angel Reese because she has to this point never apologized. She thinks that was cool. I've never seen that before in my life. A player basically after winning a championship game chase another player down to try and make them look bad. And I guess Caitlyn didn't take it personal. She doesn't. Um, and but I mean, from there it was like obviously Caitlyn was the show. Even in LSU winning, they were expected to win. I didn't even expect Iowa to beat South Carolina, to be honest with you, but they did. And you know, kudos to our LSU team. The LSU team was good, but it was clear as day, at least from that point on. It was probably even clear before that who was the show in college women's college basketball. And everybody was anticipating her coming out early, but she stayed. Um, Obviously, she had another great year, another great deep run. And I don't know if people would have made it such a big deal of her coming out, but it's like whenever she gets hype or any type of praise or any type of whatever, you always hear someone hating on her or someone coming at her for no reason, trying to make it seem like she's not going to do this or she wouldn't do this or like for example, just the latest example, this Gino Oriema interview just came out. Basically, it happened in June, but basically she came out of her way. She went out of her way, him, to just basically say that, oh, anybody who thinks she's going to be a big time star her first year is ridiculous. They don't know anything. I see Las Vegas has her as in the top 5 of MVP, MVP odds and everything. And oh, look at where we are now. We are basically 10 games. They have maybe 10, 12 games to play. And guess what? Caitlin Clark is about to be a first team WNBA player. So who doesn't know what they're talking about now? And that's no shot at Gino from a coaching standpoint. He's still the GOAT, but it's just like people lose their mind. People don't know what they're talking about. People just go crazy. It's almost like with Trump or something like that. It's like people get triggered and they just don't know what they're talking about. It's just like, why would you come out and just hate on her? Why wouldn't you just like wish her the best? It's not like she hasn't proven that she is an accomplished player. She basically took Iowa as far as they can go. I don't understand why you would come up with comments like that. And then obviously the whole Olympic deal. Why would she not be on the team? I understand she got off to a little bit of a slow start, but she was still putting up better numbers than a lot of those people that made it. Again, she's already a top 5 WNBA player. There was 12 people taken. Diana Taurasi didn't even basically play. She's 42 years old. That was probably the obvious person that should have been taken out. But they still. So when you just see all this stuff that they try to do to her, it just makes people double down and just like want to like her more because, first of all, she's handling all this stuff. She's handling all this stuff like very, very well. You don't see her try to take shots at anybody. You know what I'm saying? She's not trying to rub her nose in anybody's on anybody's downfall. She's just here. She's gonna be a dog on the court, but other than that, she's just when it's over, she realizes it's just basketball. She's not really here to put anybody down. And I think just her class and just the way she plays, she's just winning a lot of people over. I mean, unless you have some sort of agenda, I really don't see what there is to like not like about this girl. Like, I mean, I'm happy she's getting attention because she's really taken a lot of criticism and I think she's really pushed through. So good for her as far as I'm concerned. And as far as these WNBA players that are like begging for attention and saying they should get this and get that and whatever, you know, I was a big Tim Duncan fan. Okay? I think Tim Duncan has an argument for the best player, not just as far as a power forward, but one of the best players to ever play the game. Man has 5 championships. He played 19 seasons where he never won less than 50 games in a season. if not for one of the worst substitutions of all time, and Greg Popovich basically sending him out in that one Miami Heat final. He probably has 6 championships and 0 losses in the finals. So anyway, whether you agree with me or not, you probably don't. No big deal. He's one of the best players of all time. You would never know that he ever played in the league. And if you were watching the NBA during the 2000s and the 2010s, he was never talked about. This man won 2 MVPs. He won 3 NBA Final MVPs. He won 5 championships. The Spurs had some of the lowest ratings of all time. Nobody would ever talk about him. He didn't care. He just did what he had to do. Kobe got all the attention. LeBron got all the attention. Shaq got all the attention. He just went about his business and he didn't cry about it, man. He just did what he had to do. So I don't understand, why everybody has to, make it seem like you are owed attention. None of these WNBA players are ever going to do what Tim Duncan ever did. So, no, you're not owed attention. I understand it's frustrating, but, the WNBA has to sell their league. And before the WNBA, before Caitlin Clark, nobody was really interested in watching. And to the honest truth, even though I like watching the WNBA and I was watching it before, like I said, the whole scandal, whatever. If we're going to be completely honest about the quality of basketball, if you're used to watching college basketball, if you're used to watching NBA, if you're even used to watching high-level high school basketball, the quality of the WNBA is not really, it shouldn't be put on this, big pedestal, if we're really, really being honest. But whatever, that's fine. That's the best women have to offer. And if you're into women's sports, it's cool. But it's not great basketball for the most part. They're making it sound like you should be spending all this money, you should be doing all this stuff to see, we're hyping up Angel Reese to being rookie of the year, and she could, she's a great rebounder. She's always been a great rebounder, but she plays a big man position, and she could, she has trouble making layups. So, if we ever saw that on the men, if men miss dunks and layups and all this other stuff, we would be dogging them to kingdom come. People always say, I can't, if the Pistons play the Wizards, oh man, I can't watch that game. That's a terrible game. But you can watch, that game would trump anything WNBA had to offer. So I really just don't understand the mentality of these women who, again, we're kind of getting off this topic because everybody's kind of into the league now, but they have still not made a profit yet since this league has started. They have been subsidized and all the other stuff by the NBA. And yet all you constantly hear is the crying, complaining about they're not getting enough attention. Well, Caitlin Clark is getting you attention. And I know you're tired of hearing that, but it's the truth. It really is the truth. And when you are so bitter and so angry about the fact that somebody else is getting attention instead of just showing what you did on the court, for example, when Dejanay Carrington, when she was first playing, because the Connecticut Sun played the Fever maybe 3 times the first 3 weeks of the season. And I saw how Dejanay Carrington was basically shutting Caitlin Clark down. I was like, yo, she was winning me over. I'm like, okay, I'm a fan of this girl. And she's a good-looking woman. So I'm like, okay, I'm really a fan of this girl. Okay. But then she opens her mouth and she starts crying, complaining, and, she starts saying certain stuff about how, she's sounding so ungrateful about how the fans are not paying attention to her and blah, blah, blah. It's just, oh, bro, I don't want to hear it. It's just play your game. You were winning me over. I didn't even know about you. I didn't even know you existed before this year, to be honest. Like I said, this is the first time I watched the WNBA since that whole Maya Moore thing. And I was learning the new players, and I saw her, and I see how she's doing. And I'm like, okay, yeah, she can play. She's a good defender and she's good looking and everything like that. But then you're gonna complain and try to whatever and make it sound like I owe you viewership and I owe you this and everything like that. Like, no, I don't. No, I don't. Okay? Because to be honest, the league isn't that good, but this is the best women has to offer. And I'm into Caitlin Clark, so yeah, I'm watching. There's certain people are going to be into. I was into Tim Duncan. A lot of people weren't. A lot of people were into Kobe. I wasn't into Kobe. That's just how it is. There's probably a lot of Dejanay Carrington fans in Connecticut that are trying to get people to learn who she is, which is cool. That's how it is. Like, whatever fan base embrace you, thank God for it and move on. Like, don't complain about how, oh, I'm not getting this type of viewership. I'm not getting this type of attention. I'm not getting these type of endorsement deals. Okay, well, you need to play better. You need to work harder. You're the Connecticut Sun. Connecticut Sun are probably going to play the Fever, maybe first round. That's the way it's looking like in the first round. So dominate Caitlin Clark, and people will know about you. People will talk about you. Obviously, Shannon Sharp watches it. He has a big platform. You sweep the Fever, people are going to know about you, and you don't have to complain no more. All right? My gosh, dude. Like, I don't understand why these people act this way. Again, I like Tim Duncan. Nobody talked about this guy. He's one of the greatest players to ever play. I like Mike Trout. I don't think he got enough attention in baseball. But that's just how it is. Some people like other people more. You can't cry and complain about how certain people get more attention than you. You're already on the pro level. You're playing in front of national cameras. When your time comes, just do the best you can and just keep it going. And that's what Caitlin Clark does. She doesn't ask for this type of attention. She doesn't self-promote herself. She just plays ball. That's all she's ever been doing was just been playing ball. And every time one of you haters she asks about one of her haters or whatever, all she does is give them compliments, man. Like, oh, Jewel Lloyd, man. Oh, man, there's nothing you can really do about Jewel Lloyd. Oh, man, she's just, she's going to get her numbers no matter what you do. I mean, come on, man. Jewel Lloyd is shooting 38% from the field, dude. Stop. Stop. But that's what Caitlin Clark will say. She'll find something nice to say about somebody. I mean, but but Jewel Lloyd or all these other Seattle Storm, they'll be trying to bump her, or when they ask her about Caitlin Clark, they'll try to give some snobby answer, saying not wanting to talk about her. Cheryl Swoops will talk about the whole damn Fever team and just basically ignore Caitlin Clark. When we have this Rookie of the Year debate for 2-3 months, they will try to pretend like Angel Reese was having a better year than Caitlin Clark. No disrespect to Angel Reese, even though I don't like her, but she is not never having a better year than Caitlin Clark, despite her great rebounding. She wasn't. They don't feature her offensively. So, yes, she dominates on the boards, but she's not a dominant scorer. She had a couple nice games where she had like some really, some great games and everything like that. But all in all, they don't go to her as a go-to player. And that's just the truth. So, I just wanted to give my perspective on that and just say that, this is probably going to be Caitlin Clark's worst year. So you think it's bad now? She's going to fix those turnovers at some point. She's going to start shooting a better 3-point percentage. And her passing and her other scoring ain't really going nowhere. The way the Fever are playing, you better hope they don't win it this year. If you hate Caitlin Clark, I mean, this is bad for you, man. It really is. So, but it's good for the WNBA. I mean, because that's who they want to see. And look, that's who they're probably going to get because they're playing really well right now. I'm really looking forward to seeing. I mean, I know she's got like Minnesota on her schedule, Connecticut on her schedule, Las Vegas on her schedule. So I want to see her try to beat these teams because she has had problems with Connecticut in the past, but was having problems with Seattle in the past, and they whooped Seattle the other day. That's why, like I said, I want to see if she is going to take that to the next level and beat the Connecticut Sun, beat the New York Liberty, those elite teams like that. But oh man, all the respect in the world to her. I think she's great. I'm even looking forward to seeing Paige Beckers next year. Juju Watkins after her. So I'm kind of into it again. Until as long as they keep that LGBT stuff to a minimum, I'm fine with it, man. I know there's some people who are like that, and they make it very obviously that they're like that. But whatever. Like, as long as they don't like consciously throw it in my face, I could deal with it. But if they go back to that whole pushing that stuff over again, I'm out again. That's just where I'm at with it. Like, the league isn't that good to me. I didn't watch it for like I said, a long time. Really wasn't following like that. But if they calm down with that stuff, I'm good with the league, man. I really hate that culture is really so dominant in that league. I'm pray that it gets back to at least a place where these women don't want to find husbands and whatever. But unfortunately, we live in a world where it's like women want to be bosses, and you know, when it comes to unfortunately when it comes to marriage, there needs to be a lot of love and there needs to be a lot of sacrifice where somebody submits to somebody else. And obviously, there needs to be a woman submitting to a man, and a lot of women don't want to do that, unfortunately. But that's just how it is, and hopefully things will change. But hey, if it keeps going this way, that people got to make their own decisions. But anyway, I'm just trying to say that I'm watching the league now, and we'll see how it goes. I'm good with it, and everything's cool. It's a somewhat good product. Like I said, I'm never gonna say it's better than NBA basketball. I never believed that lie that the women's college tournament was better than the men's tournament, but it's a watchable product. But and I'll just leave it at that. Thank you for listening, and thank you for everybody checking out my page. I'm gonna probably upload this thing now. Thank y'all for listening. Thanks.